So I'm an engineer by trade. I went to school for a bunch of years and learned about how to use robotics to do robotics and electrical engineering and all kinds of stuff like that. And I finally decided to go into business on my own to address issues that I thought was important. It's always nice to do what you think is important instead of what somebody else thinks is important. And so since 2017, I've built several prototypes. The first one I built was that small robot up there, which is mostly just to see if there was the technology available and at a reasonable cost to find strawberries and pick them. Obviously, once you take that to the field, you have a whole new set of problems. And so over the years, I have redesigned the robot 3 times to become more applicable in the field. And really operating in the variable environment that's outside has been a major influence. In addition to the technology available, it has to work outside in the sun, in the dark, in the rain, in the cold, all the time. And that is really the core of what is enabling mechanical harvesting now is the technology is finally available at a reasonable cost to enable mechanical harvesting at a reasonable cost. Something that I probably know the least about in this room is farm labor. I know enough to know that it's a big problem and that it's something that needs to be addressed. I know that the H2A program has solved labor problems to a large extent and enables farmers to get the labor they need to do harvesting. But I've heard a lot about how it's rather expensive and difficult to manage and a little bit problematic in that the rules change every year and you never really know what's coming down the pike next as far as how to acquire H2A labor in the coming years. And even despite the H2A program, labor costs are continuing to rise and the labor pool is continuing to shrink, which means that in the future, in the next number of decades, in order for American strawberry business to stay viable, we're going to need a mechanical harvesting solution to come into fruition. And this is this presentation is my idea of how to solve this problem. And this chart shows what you already know, but not everybody is aware of, that strawberries are a huge portion of all berry sales in the United States. It's a $3 billion industry, which is attractive to any kind of investor when you start talking numbers like that. And despite the labor pool shrinking, the demand keeps growing. So we have either things are getting more expensive or we're going to start exporting strawberry growers to other countries to solve that shortage. And I'd like to not export them to other countries. So I'm going to talk about what the barriers are, like why don't we have robotic harvesting for strawberries and other fruits like we do for corn. And you guys all know all about it, but strawberries are very difficult to pick without damaging. Their shelf life isn't quite the same as grain. And the current solutions that anyone's come up with are rather expensive. I've looked at some research papers on the estimated cost of a strawberry harvester today. You've probably heard of a few strawberry harvesting machines that are currently out there. None of them are commercially viable right now. None of them are currently operating and picking strawberries for a farm. But some of them are very close, but they are also very expensive. They say the only cost estimate I saw is a $500,000 cost estimate, which I'm sure is just a shot in the dark. It's in that general ballpark for how much a robotic harvester costs right now. And this is a very large, oriented towards very large farms. Their goal is to target, replacing large groups of workers at once. The problem is it's a very long return on investment. When you spend that kind of money up front, it's going to take you a while to make your money back, and you really just have to have faith that that robot is going to continue to work and perform as advertised for 10 years in the future. The idea I came up with is to give farmers another choice, another alternative to that, especially farmers who don't have 500 acres of strawberries out there. Maybe you only have 50, and having a $500,000 harvester isn't a good solution. The alternative is to hire a company that doesn't sell you a robot, but sells you the harvesting services instead. And that's what the company I started with, their goal is to, instead of sell a robot, we're going to sell harvesting services. So instead of hiring H2A to come in and harvest strawberries for you, you'll hire Adev Automation to come in and harvest and reduce your labor. So part of our goal is not to replace manual labor, but to kind of slowly phase manual labor out and mechanical labor into the practice. And also, instead of selling you robots, we just sell you services. So when you hire Adev Automation, we're enabling a farm to cut its labor force dramatically. We're talking cut labor force by 50% to harvest the same number of strawberries compared to what you have now. And by doing this, we keep and maintain all the harvesters, and we're able to reutilize the harvesters on different farms throughout the year. So by having the harvesters small and lower cost, we have more of them to do the same amount of work, but it also enables us to load them up and ship them to different farms during the year for a relatively low cost, so we can utilize the farms for 8 to 10 months a year instead of just a few weeks of the year or a few months out of the year. And that lets us get a faster return investment on the robots, and it lets us offer farmers a lower rate for doing mechanical harvesting.